not?
Why not?
Why not?
You know what, Tom? I need more enthusiasm from you.
Why not?
See now, that's just crazy. That's just crazy.
Yep.
This holiday season,
I'm
we're
here to
thankful
irritate.
for the pets whose
Punch it
love
up.
got us
Oh my
through the
God.
year. But next year, get ready to love even bigger.
That is,
What am I doing?
sorry, we had that. That's wild, son.
What did it do?
It did things.
I think my head dot here is messing it up.
It's fine. It's fine. Oh man.
See, this is gonna make people at home think that they're on LSD or something when my face just every once in a while,
Most likely.
or I am an alien. I could talk about. Also, speaking of aliens, I rewatched V because I took the week off and I didn't have jack to do except go through stuff.
Now, do you mean the movie, the TV series, the reboot TV series?
The reboot. I tried watching the '80s one and the movie, and man, those were terrible. Like, as a wee baby child, I was excited about that because aliens. A TV show with actual special effects. But are we live right now?
Yeah, we're live.
All right, sweet. I'll just keep rambling then. But man, that writing was so bad. And one of the things I thought was kind of interesting was in the '80s movie, it was they had the hybrid V human baby. But that was a teenage pregnancy of a girl gone bad who decided to sleep with a visitor and then got pregnant. Whereas in now they did it with like two loving people that were about to get married and then got pregnant. The other thing that I held on to, which I thought was kind of interesting, was the branding that the visitors took on. It's like they call themselves the visitors when they're amongst each other on the ship, as opposed to whatever their real name is. I thought that was kind of interesting. Like no one in the writers' room thought, "Hey, maybe we should give them a name that isn't visitor."
Now, isn't the lead visitor? I can't remember what her name
Yes.
is from Firefly.
Yes, the queen of sci-fi, Marina Baccarin.
There you go.
She is the queen of sci-fi. I will hold on to that. Nichelle is the queen mother. Who else? Who's been in more sci-fi?
I mean, at this
point,
point, probably Katie Sackhoff.
No way. No. Katie Sackhoff has been in what? So Battlestar, now Mandalorian, Bionic Woman.
Like the Clone Wars, Rebels, right?
Was she in Rebels?
I might be wrong about her being in Rebels. Definitely Clone Wars.
Was that her voice in Clone Wars? I didn't think that was her voice.
I mean, then if we just get into voiceovers, then she also starts racking up on that as well. I guess what else has Miranda been in?
Marina has been in Firefly. She's been in Stargate for 2 seasons.
Oh, right.
Yes.
In the movie Arc of Truth, too. Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
And then V.
We said V.
And then there's one more that I can't put my mind on, which I will...
Deadpool doesn't count.
Deadpool does not count?
Not a sci-fi.
Yeah.
You said sci-fi queen, so that's why I was kind of like my ears was like.
Now, can you, so, all right, and for some reason, Katie Sackhoff, I can't find. I will do Starbuck. Come on, Katie. Wait, I can't spell her damn last name.
It's Sack Hoff. Hoff. This ain't rocket surgery.
Oh, it's 2 E's as well.
Was you spelling it like a
Oh
plan,
crap!
Katie?
She was in Riddick.
Yep. Oh, I forgot
Oh
about that one.
God.
That one's not that bad. It is better than Chronicles of Riddick.
Bad.
It
Wow,
gets closer.
okay, so
it gets closer to Pitch Black. It definitely feels more like Pitch Black than Chronicles of Riddick's nonsense. Oh my gosh! I just realized that's another contender for Fantastic Beasts 2. They pulled a Beast 2. Why are you expanding Riddick into this thing? That's not what Pitch Black was. Pitch Black was this little horror movie. Like, what the hell are you doing? That's going to be a topic. It's going to be serious. Continue, sorry, but that's going to be a.
So she was in, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is actually this is what a normal night in person.
Yes,
we'd
be drinking, eating burritos around the bar
and yelling at each other about sci-fi. So Katie's done a lot of voice work. So Bionic Woman, Battlestar Galactica, Superhero Squad. So Heroes don't count. Batman Year One doesn't count. Spider-Man doesn't count. The Oculus, Riddick. Does Power Rangers count?
Ooh, does
She was in a Power Rangers short.
Possibly. Oh, right, she was Kimberly.
Yeah, was she in that dark reboot one that everyone? Yes.
I guess. I know Power Rangers might lean more hero, but I also want to say the tech in it, because it got teleportation, you've got the comm links and things like that, the morphine powers specifically. That might be a little more sci-fi. If we don't count it, I'm not gonna be hurt. But also, like, if it's in that, I was like, okay, I would put it in that category.
So they've both been in the Flash together.
Well, that's unfortunate. For both of them. I hate.
And she's been in Gotham.
Miranda. Right, because she was playing as opposite Gordon. They're like love interest for a bit, and then something happens. I didn't watch it. I could not put myself through that.
There's actually an impressive overlap for them. Yeah. The Mentalist. Are we going to call that sci-fi?
Get the fuck. Get
Numbers is sci-fi. I will fight you on that one.
Numbers?
With
the elf from
sci-fi.
Santa Claus? No. If you said persons of interest, I would have been with you there. Because of the machine they use that gives them the predictive powers. I'd be fine with that. But neither of them are in that show, as far as I remember. Numbers.
Yeah.
Numbers.
Oh shit! She was Black Canary in Justice League Unlimited. So I'm going to change this.
Do you want to change your answer to Nerd Queen?
Yes, I was about to say she is the Nerd Queen.
If you do that, Miranda
definitely.
But then you get. But then all the other Katie stuff comes back into play. All the things you just listened. All the.
Yes, but I don't think a lot of people. I don't know.
That's not my problem. If people don't realize who hey, that's funny given what just happened to Mandalorian. If they don't recognize their queen, just wait till she gets the dark saber, and then all will be.
No, actually, now Morena's got to get into the Mandalorian so that he can, as some type of foil for the dark saber.
Ooh. I know we got Rosario coming up as Ahsoka, but gosh,
it better be this week.
She would have been an interesting choice hadn't thought about that, you know, just until you said bring in the Mandalorian. But now I'm like, that would have been an interesting choice.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what type of character she could play, because I know that there's a little bit of irritated cancel culture around what's her face.
Was it Cara Delevingne?
Yeah.
I think also I would say though, I think she hasn't handled the situation well.
No, actually, I mean, I think that it's. I'm not going to say deserving, but definitely is understanding of why people are upset with her, because
fan the flames. Come on now.
Yeah, like you, it's one thing to have feelings about stuff, but to openly mock it, whole other game.
And if you apologize, I will say, as much as people want to say it's a mob and so on and so forth, I think like. And again, this particular like environment, I'd say the culture, the way the culture is going is two different. Like, can be similar to the environment, but they don't have to always be the same. So while the environment right now of this year might be more, maybe less forgiving, that could possibly be I would say generally, like over the last couple of years, if you apologize and like I don't want to say get out ahead of it like I'm your publicist, but if you just like, hey, I did not mean to, you know, even like the James Gunn.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about that last week, or was bringing that up with a friend of like, he'd already apologized for those tweets when he was like trying some really dumb jokes, like really crass jokes, and he admitted it after I was brought up a couple years ago. He was like, "Yeah, that was stupid. I'm sorry. Like I was like, I can explain my thought process, but it really doesn't matter because what it produced was were some like really offensive jokes." And I'm like, okay, that's an apology. Cool.
That's actually, that could be a very interesting and dangerous conversation for us to have around that. Is like, where is the road to redemption for people in certain things, and you know, where do we draw certain lines? Because like stand-up comedians, I empathize with comedians, because a lot of times, especially with Twitter and nowadays, comedians used to like go to local clubs on like a Tuesday night. You could see Jerry Seinfeld working out new material, and a lot of it would flop or just be terrible, and that's because they're honing the jokes and trying to figure out what plays and what doesn't. But nowadays, Dave Chappelle talked about this when he like first
when he was like collecting the cell phones and stuff. It was like, if you're going to start coming into his shows, when he was starting to make his comeback before the Netflix specials, they were like, "Gotta put your phone in this bag. You'll get it back after the show."
Yep. And yeah, like it's because some like, not to say like I am not a comedian, but I have the mentality of one where I find the joke in things, and that's probably like a trauma response of some type that I have to work out with my therapist. But the reality is that when something horrible happens, there are people that are like, "What's funny about this?" Or, you know, what's ironic about this situation? And so sometimes those jokes really play out. Other times they do terribly. And so I'm just trying to figure out, like, during this. Oh shoot! I was watching ourselves on the stream, and then noises.
How dare you, Tom?
So yeah, I'm just trying to figure out like where's the line, or like is there a possibility for, say, Kevin Spacey to make a comeback? Like that's the question I have. And if the answer is no, cool. But can we like talk about why? You know, like
what is the like? One, can we even have the conversation? Which I think we should be able to have, but I think people have proven that sometimes they are not willing to do that. But yeah. Two, it's like, if there is a way forward, it's like what is it? I think we've definitely seen some examples of what not to do. Right, doubling down is not necessarily like, and like you know, the long term thing too is like, and the thing I don't think people can really answer right now is for anything that's in the gray area, and people say like, "Isn't the entire thing gray?" It's like, no, I don't think the entire thing's gray. Like, let's take a blackface example. You should know with the availability of Google right now that's a very easy thing to figure. I would argue it's a very easy thing to figure out. But let's say I give you the benefit of the doubt that is a cultural issue in the black community that you're just not aware of. But like an easy thing to immediately do is like, I apologize for that. I'm not, like, let's say if it's a performance that you did or something, like you're like, I'm not going to do that again. But where we would get into the gray areas is like when Netflix pulled the Community episode with the blackface elf when Senor Chang was doing it. My problem with them pulling it was that joke hits at like but the joke in the show, like, one, he's not on screen the whole time. I think they go through like 2 rounds ish and then he's gone. But there's 2 immediate jokes there. It was like they realized why the drow are kind of fucked up in D&D, for being completely honest. And then 2, Shirley is alone and none of the other white characters are saying anything, or even Troy are saying anything about the problem, and she has to call that out, which is very, like, I feel like it's a very pop culture relevant thing of like how often it happens and no one said shit about it. So her literal joke is like, oh, so we're just not going to talk about that hate crime right there? Or I think the hate crime sitting at I forget how she worded it. I'm like, that's brilliant. If people ask me why I don't have a problem with Robert Downey Jr. In Tropic Thunder, then I don't think you watched the movie then. I don't think you understood that that's the point. His character doesn't get it. And having the other black character there call him out on the shit is like he is standing in for the white actors that would do that in Hollywood and get away with it. And the black actor that is in the movie that got passed over for the one black role gets to spend the entire movie like tearing him down for it, or dressing him down for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's, and like, I think this kind of goes back to the comedian conversation of like, where do we draw the line in mockery of something that is bad? Like in Tropic Thunder, that was clearly mocking the whole concept of an actor going too far into for the role sense, and so like that opened up the conversation about actors doing stupid things for their roles, and so I think that is. I'm losing my train of thought on this. Like I still think that there needs to be room for that to be out there.
And it's like like you need to have the space to make a mistake.
I like how we're
as you create. Yeah. Oh, you like how we're? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, we've completely riffed the entire intro of this, and that's not what we. Nowhere near what we started. Maybe it was. How did we get on this? Oh, Cara Delevingne. We're talking sci-fi queen, nerd queen, but then we got distracted on her extracurricular tweets.
Yes. Okay, so what do we got going on today?
Sorry, folks. Yeah, we got off the rails. This is the pre-Thanksgiving episode, so we hope you. Yes. We did promise that we're going to talk about why Thanksgiving movies suck. I got a good friend, Shelby Johnson, made a good point about Thanksgiving music. And the reason and I just said this before too, is like the reason we skipped from October to December is because there is no Thanksgiving music. It might also be that Thanksgiving is
potatoes, tomatoes.
That is the Thanksgiving banger, but that's it.
Yes. Yeah, it definitely has replaced the Thanksgiving song from the actor I don't care about anymore. You know, Adam Sandler.
And I feel like with all of our, I don't want to say evolved thoughts on Thanksgiving and like Columbus Day, I just don't know. Like the family tradition of it, I think is going to continue to stay regardless, and that's good. That's fine. But like what it means to people, I think has considerably changed over the last decade or so, maybe even longer than that.
Yep.
So, like, what an actual Thanksgiving movie should be? Probably seeing a bunch of indigenous people get wiped the fuck out, if we're being completely honest. And then, like, having a lesson about it at the end of, like, kids, do we understand why this was wrong? And why why our ancestors, you know. So, like, the topic of Thanksgiving actually ought to be a lot heavier than it is. So, all these movies about it, you know, it's like, families coming together. It's like, okay, cool. But if you're going to actually historically make a Thanksgiving movie, yeah. It's a little difficult. But we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that later.
We'll get to that in a minute.
And also, I love that we have a Hallmark movie topic today because it just, so the timing could not be more perfect. I know this isn't even our Christmas episode, and I'm so
yeah. I should have busted out like a sweater or something.
Mm-hmm. All right, so with the untimely passing of Chadwick Boseman, we've been really wondering what was going to happen with Black Panther, and even with this latest update, it still hasn't told us like who exactly is going to take on the mantle. Though we can assume with this news update. But Marvel is going to move forward with Black Panther 2 with Shuri in the lead. But that doesn't really tell us, like, is she going to be wearing that suit? Is she going to do something kind of some hybrid or thing of her own? Or just take the throne of Wakanda? Like, we haven't got any kind of like plot details like that. But it has been confirmed that Marvel is moving forward with Black Panther 2. Whether filming is going to happen exactly in 2021 or 2022, not sure on that yet. But they're moving forward with that. So, yeah, at least kind of gives us a... What's that?
They did filming for Black Panther 2 already.
A little bit.
Okay.
There was some pre-production. I don't think they really got. As far as I understand, I don't think they got super far at all. Plus, with COVID stuff happening this year, because it definitely it wasn't going to get released next year anyway. It was going to be a 2022 movie.
Gotcha.
Now,
who
knows?
It's basically the last Star Wars movie then, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I mean, I'm excited. May not be the best word. I will wait and see. I want to see Ryan Coogler do well. I want to see that cast do well. And I think the one strength that's not being talked about is how much of a team the Black Panther movie was. I know some people lamented that. They're like, I want to see him do more on his own. I'm like, that could be a fair conversation, but he's not Batman. As much as people want to say like, oh, he's the Marvel Batman. It's like, as far as ability and smarts, that might be, and like money, like, but that's kind of where the comparison stops. His modus operandi is not to be like Batman.
Yes, Batman is a rich loner fascist, whereas T'Challa was a king who protected his people.
Yeah, I mean, if Wayne, the Bat Family or the Bat Incorporated series, like Panther had that first. Yeah, I said it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, but yeah, I'll have very much a wait and see attitude of that. But I wish them well. I don't know if we're still gonna get Namor or what's gonna like. I don't know if it's like plot, how much plot details or how much of the script they're gonna have to just like chuck. But you know, I guess the one blessing is that with not being able to shoot this year, they can have a lot of time to just get it right. Because Marvel's not in any rush to like throw movies out there right now because they got a backlog.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is definitely true. I mean, cripes, were 9 months since we were supposed to see Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
So, get on it, Marvel. Or Disney.
It's like, get on it.
Plus it.
My little slideshow does not want to work. I swear.
Uh-oh.
It's got the wrong... Well, that'll lead us into our...
Oh. Yeah, let's just jump to it.
we'll just jump to it. Now there goes my Black Panther photo. Just great. I was trying so hard.
Next slide. Next slide.
See, but it won't let me do next slide. That's embarrassing. We'll get it figured out. Oh, Anthony Mackie, you wonderful looking human being. All right. Cool. I'm just gonna let that cycle. I'll point out when the photo comes up that's appropriate to what we want to talk about. Anyway, Hallmark is they're wilding out, y'all.
Yes.
So I actually am surprised, and I wrote this. I'm surprised that they have not had their first gay couple in a Christmas movie, and they've had gay couples as far as like in Hallmark movies, but this is supposedly the first Christmas movie that will star a gay couple, and that's cool. I applaud that. I just couldn't help but laugh at how white. And
so,
go ahead, Tom.
Do they draw straws as to which one is like the furniture maker in the country, and the other one is the high-powered person that goes home and falls in love? Yeah.
And folks, I'm not really trying to make fun of the whiteness, although that's a topic. I guess I'm just laughing at the bland formula of Hallmark movies and how predictable they are. So when I saw the headline and then saw the photo, I was like, oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that's like Hallmark movie gold casting.
Yep.
And photo look right there. Good Lord.
And so I'm sure that there was some brave person at Hallmark that was just like, okay, what if we don't use Cameron Candace Bury and instead put a man in there? or Lacey Chabert, because sometimes you want a brunette.
Who? And who?
Lacey. So
I'm just joking. I can't conjure a mental image of them. It just blurs together. Hopefully you all have seen that.
Like, one is clearly a blonde, the other, or a dirty blonde. The other one is clearly a brunette. Totally different people, totally different types, and the only two types of women apparently Hallmark allows to show.
Look, Tom, I'm not saying all white people look alike. Far be it from me to say such an outlandish thing.
Plot twist, you're actually talking to Brad Pitt right now.
Hey Brad, so let's chat about Inglourious Bastards and that Tennessee accent that you
Nazis. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. But gosh, did they cast a type. Like, so when you've seen the meme floating around of like which Hallmark movie, and you see just this sea of the same cookie cutter casting, it's rough. So they can be mad at it all they want, but it's true.
Shoot, man, my memory is just shot from a week of doing pod all week.
If the FBI is listening, he lives in Illinois, and I've heard it's
where it's perfectly legal. But yeah, it's like every male lead is a Bradley Cooper-ish type, and every female lead is
same jawline, same waft of the hair.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited about the progress. I just wish the plot and the cookie cutter mold would change, just a little bit.
Baby steps for Hallmark. Like they're fine putting in a gay couple, but it's got to be the same plot. That's what keeps them warm and cuddly at night.
Hey, but you know what? I will give them this. As much as I like knock on Marvel for their formula, hey Hallmark, they're like, it ain't broke. It's like we ain't got nothing to fix. Yeah, I know I changed the phrase. I don't care. And Hallmark's still a successful channel as far as I can remember or tell. So okay.
Yep.
Cool. Some people say they remember specific title names and stuff from Hallmark Channel, and to them I say you're a damn liar.
I mean, aren't they all the same? Like, with just some, like the three columns of words, like a, the, and so on and so forth. Very special, so on and so forth. Christmas, holiday, winter, blah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. Oh gosh, you know what? I'm gonna save I'm gonna save it for the Thanksgiving topic when we get to it, and our eventual. If we have a Hallmark conversation, so much of it is gonna mirror itself, regardless of what the holiday is. If it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, or like Valentine's Day, so there won't be a ton of variance there. But I'll try to save some of that for our chat later, and then some inevitable Hallmark. I guess we just need to have a Hallmark channel.
I just thought about like the anti-Hallmark channel Thanksgiving special, where it's just like tension at dinner as your conservative uncle starts saying stuff about Trump, and it's just like it's an hour long and it's just dinner, and everybody's angry at the end of it. That Hallmark should really look into that.
There is a movie like that. Salma Hayek and oh gosh, I can't remember the name of that movie. I don't think it's like not about Trump, but it's like, oh gosh, I can't remember. I'll look it up. I'll look it up later when we chat about it. Sorry, it's seared in my mind.
Is it a Thanksgiving movie?
I want to say John Lithgow's in it too. I don't think it's a Thanksgiving movie. But it is effectively doing the premise that you're talking about. So the template exists.
Probably like
a
play. Guess who's coming to dinner or something like that.
Yeah, kind of like that. All right, one of my favorite black actors in Hollywood, Anthony Mackie. It's a shame they canceled Altered Carbon, but I mean they were gonna have to change actor anyway.
Yeah, I don't think he would have carried on to 2 since Joel didn't. So
but I just feel like people were like, "Oh, season 2 wasn't as good." It's like.
I think I actually watched season 1 with Sarah, and I'm guessing a lot of people thought it was season 2 is significantly less naked people, and I think maybe that might be influencing, if memory serves.
But I mean, but why? Why would that? Okay, I don't know.
Listen,
I don't know who I'm kidding.
Yeah, okay, good.
I was being sarcastic, Tom.
I was about to get fired up. Yeah, how many fedora or trilby wearing neckbeards are like? Why wasn't there a one woman fighting a naked woman over and over again in season 2? Damn it.
Great scene, but yeah, it is a poster child for exactly what you're talking about. I'm like, damn it. All right, old Anthony Mackie. It's going to be in a new Netflix movie called The O-Gun. It's going to be based off a script from Dark Knight Rises writer Madison Turner. So Mackie plays a guy named Rhodes, travels to Nigeria with his teenage daughter who inherited a genetic illness from him. But she gets kidnapped by the criminal underground there, and he has to run rickshaw through the entire criminal underworld there. This seems like
that's a lot.
That's a lot. They didn't say anything about powers, but there was one thing at the end that said he must employ his powerful abilities to their very limit. So I couldn't tell, do they mean this is like more like transporter taken, kind of like he's just like a badass?
A very specific set of skills?
Or is there, because then he goes back to the illness. Like, is that like powers or abilities? So
like wanted.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know yet, but it is very interesting, and I just like seeing Mackie do well. Yes.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that works out as well.
And the Avenger alumni getting more opportunities. So we got another one, but with the Russo brothers. So if you got to see Extraction. Chris Hemsworth. A sequel is coming to that. I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit in the way of like the Equalizer, where like he's operates in a different town, so like won't be the exact same kidnapping plot that happened in the first Extraction movie. So just to put him in some different locale. But production will start on that next year. So could probably see that by the end of the year, depending on how early to get it in 2021 or like a 2022 Netflix release.
You know what? I realize I don't think I saw that, or I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's definitely in that. It's not forgettable. Or sorry. Well, no, I don't. I don't think it's forgettable. But we've had so many of these like sneak Netflix flash pans, and I'm not saying they're bad, but I put it in like the same category as the Old Guard. I think the Old Guard is really good, and I enjoyed it. But there was so much of that happened this year that it just kind of blurred together. Maybe I just wanted so many Hollywood blockbusters to come out that I just didn't give them the due that they should have had.
Yep. Most definitely. And actually, now that I think about it, I wanted to bring up something about streaming and movies. Is that Tenet's going to stream December 15th?
And I'm actually out on Blu-ray and is that on the same date or is it after that?
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm mad because
you're mad.
I'm mad about this because
proceed.
They are undercutting Wonder Woman.
No,
you don't think so? It's literally 9 days. It's 11 days. No. I'm sorry, exactly 10 days before Wonder Woman.
Okay.
It's on its streaming.
Hear me out.
I'm hearing you out.
If this was it's not on HBO Max. Right. So they're not
okay.
So this is
I thought it was.
Okay, double check. If I'm wrong about that, then
go on.
Yeah, so now if this was, let's say, The Dark Knight, or Dark Knight Rises, even in that category, or Batman v Superman, something like that, then I would probably agree with you a little bit more. Tenet just didn't. You and me were talking about it. Tenet wasn't going to save the box office. It just isn't that. It just isn't that movie. So it coming out that close, I just don't. I don't know if that's really going to distract from Wonder Woman. I think there's been more. You and me have been railing and pissed and angry every time 1984 got pushed back. We were upset when Tenet was getting pushed back, sure, but who were we more like feeling?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. But like I feel like what I wanted from this was I wanted Wonder Woman to kind of show up Nolan in a little ways, and so I wanted it to have that like hard hammer hit on December 25th. But with Tenet moving this release date, it kind of peters it out a little bit. Excuse me for yawning.
Dare you.
I know. Yep, and actually another potential way to watch Tenet is through streaming service HBO Max.
Okay. So I would say the one, and I'll shoot a con in my own argument, is if more people would have wanted to, or would have seen Tenet if it were streaming, if those people had been waiting eagerly, then I could see your argument that it being that close, that there might still be some population out there that just didn't see it and it's still really like has had it on their mind of like, I want to go see that. So when it drops, it could have a good performance there. But I really don't think it's going to outperform. I'm willing to put a paycheck on it. It's not going to outperform Wonder Woman 1984. So then I guess the question is just like, how much of a difference is it? Like, would Wonder Woman done better, or so on and so forth?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'll be curious.
Yeah, I don't know. You could. I guess at the end of this, I'm starting to lean more towards your argument there.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I still feel like it's a bit of an undercut. Like if they were going to do it, they could have waited until like January 15th or something like that. Mm-hmm. But who the hell am I?
I mean, they probably got other stuff they need to release.
Yeah, I mean, if that is what's going to happen, is they're like, hey, we have all these films we're holding up on, so let's get Tenet out, and then Wonder Woman, and then we'll just start opening up the streams. Cool.
Yeah, and I really hope we get some re-releases next year. So like, I don't know when you do it on the calendar. I don't know how that's gonna work out. Like I was gonna say, maybe you put in a slow month. I was like, I don't know if there's gonna be a slow month next year when stuff finally starts to kind of get back. Maybe middle of the year when stuff finally kind of.
I think there will be though, because there's so much production that's been on hold that we're gonna see like this. I think we're gonna see a small dead period of quality films during this.
I kept thinking it was gonna happen though. And I just don't. I guess the reason I'm saying I don't see that happening anymore is because with all the delays that we had, a lot of productions were still able to go. Like they still found a way to go. You can go if you use the Jurassic World Dominion example, where they did 40,000 tests across the entire production over the time period of like COVID tests, just over the time period in which they were going. So like, Matrix 4 is almost. Not done, but they got some. They're doing pretty well. Seems like they're gonna hit their. Still don't think it's gonna release next year, but it seems like as far as getting stuff in the can. So I guess the other part of my prediction of there is that I still think, even though they think like, oh yeah, we'll get people in January and February, I was like, no. Look at the numbers right now. I don't think they're gonna get better until. So no, I feel like from now until March. Still going to be a theater dead time, and then maybe we'll see like a Black Widow and the Fast 9. What the fuck are we on? I don't know. I don't know what you're on. Kick off April, and then you still have all those winter movies and spring movies that just didn't get. So that's probably going to become your summer blockbusters, and you continue to see everything get pushed back. So, I think yes, is there going to be a dead period? Yeah, but I think it'll be January to March. And then just kind of see like a very, very hesitant wait and see period after that.
Yeah, I think so. We'll see. But I think there's going to be room for theaters, and I hope to God that there's going to be a desire for it. I mean, you and I, yes, we're probably. I'm counting the days to when I can spend $15 on popcorn and sit in a theater and watch a movie on the big screen again.
Hey, I love my $15 popcorn. Show some respect.
I love my $15. I do love my $15 popcorn. So yeah, I'm chomping at the bit to when we can do that again. Yeah. To that point, so we've been thinking about renting out a theater and doing a show from there. That's on hold for another 30 days in Chicago, at least.
So next year, got it.
Yeah.
Look.
Well, we might be able to do it before Christmas.
Tom, it's not happening. Tom, it's not happening.
It's got to be this year.
No, it's not gonna happen, Tom. I'm sorry, Tom. I hate if you, or let me say this.
Naysayer.
I ain't going. You go ahead and rent the theater out. You go ahead and do that. I ain't coming. I ain't gonna do it.
Okay. You don't want to be in the red zone of Chicago.
Already. Shit. You acting like St. Louis ain't. Chicago might be worse, but you're acting like we're any better.
At least we support mask mandates for the most part.
Yeah.
From our leadership.
You know.
We still have the crappy people, but at least like our mayor and governor are both like, wear your damn mask.
Mm-hmm. Now, Tom, help me make sense of something on our next topic.
I don't know if I can on this one.
When you think of Princess Diana, do you think, yeah, Kristen Stewart? That's who we should cast.
No, because So, like, a couple of hallmark features of Princess Diana is her warmness towards other people. And I don't see that ever with Kristen Stewart.
And that's not I really don't want to pick on Kristen Stewart because having seen a ton of her indie projects recently, I think a good comparison is that her and Robert Pattinson were like young adults, like not teenagers, obviously when Twilight and stuff was happening, but they were young adults.
They weren't fully formed humans when they did that movie.
And they, it's not like they were in the Harry Potter franchise. And I used that as a comparison. I was like, and I'm not even saying like I really love the Harry Potter movies. Yeah, blasphemy, whatever, boo boo, say it in the comments. But Harry Potter was more competently run than the Twilight series. I think that's just we may not be able to say that. People might be like, you can't say that objectively. Like, I think I can. But anyway, so it meant that they didn't get the trainings that they would have needed to make those better and so on and so forth. But they both have had successful careers doing other stuff. So much so we got Rob Pat getting ready to be Batman. Kristen Stewart's indie career, I think, is doing really, really well. And she's still doing blockbuster, like Underwater, even though it's not a great sci-fi horror film. It's a solid sci-fi horror film. It's not going to be kind of Alien or Event Horizon, but it's nice. It's a nice little touch. But Princess Diana. So this really isn't a knock at Stewart. It's more of like a who thought this was a good idea.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've felt for actors, and in some ways I kind of felt for ScarJo in this thing of, hey, here's a dump truck of money. Could you play a somewhat Japanese character? And she's like, oh, sure, okay, I'll do that. Or
say no.
Well, yes, and in hindsight, yes, and also shout out. I think I mentioned this before. Shout out to Jenny Slate, who is stepping down as the voice of Missy, and giving it to a woman of more color, I think. But yeah, so there's that. But there's like I watched The Crown season 4, and dear God, the actress that played her did such a good job and looks a lot like her.
Yeah. And Kristen Stewart has noted that she's been paying attention to this season to see how she's portrayed her. Which I think is smart.
Yes, but at the same time, like, I just watching another TV show for inspiration for a movie seems like...
Well, let me say it like this:
reading the Cliff Notes.
Was it Godfrey, Jay Farrow, other I can't remember the guy who does the John Gruden and Madden impersonations. But in person, like, I'm not saying they're doing impersonations. They're obviously trying to act the role. But there's the thing these comedians have said repeatedly is like, there's something about when someone gets it that helps other folks get the mannerisms down for some reason. I've heard that like repeatedly, and you hear this across different people that do impersonations for on a regular living of like, oh yeah, they nailed down how to do the voice, and then once they did that, you saw like it's like someone unlocked it and everyone else had it. So I will at least say, looking at how sorry, I apologize folks for not having the actress's name from the Crown that actually played Princess Diana.
Emma Corrin.
There you go. Thank you. But seeing how she can, her inflections and things can definitely help. If you're having a struggle trying to like, how am I going to put that into my body? Seeing someone else do it can help. On top of also just like maybe avoiding some things too. Of being like, maybe I don't agree with your interpretation of this. And knowing that The Crown is a popular show, there might be some reasons I want to avoid doing it the way that you did it, Or at least from a director. Even if she doesn't do it as a director, I'd be interested in seeing it so I don't carbon copy something that they've already done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's I have this fear that she's going to fall into a trap of doing an imitation of an imitation, but hopefully not.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got enough indie chops.
Yeah, and if it does, I do agree with you there. If it filters, if you're just filtering for it again, you start getting into like some bizarro weirdness. Yeah.
Yes. Like, you know, most people who try and do an imitation of George Bush does Will Ferrell's imitation. Yeah. And you know, same thing with like Dana Carvey basically has influenced all other people's imitations of other people. So yeah.
Yeah. Gotta find a way to make it real.
Yep. Yes.
Hey Tom, are you ready for some nightmare fuel?
Oh, yes.
Well, let's
Please.
cue it up. I think everyone loves Clifford the Big Red Dog. I just, it's an iconic dog in American history. That dog is terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is in Sonic territory. We're in Sonic the Hedgehog territory. Because
yeah,
they went too real. They went real dog with it. You never go full dog. You never go full dog with it. They went real.
Thank you for that callback.
See, full circle. They went full dog on it, and I don't think they really realized how terrifying an actual dog that size would look. So yeah, I'm not excited about it. Well, again, we'll play it again for folks that are just coming in. But yeah, Tom, your thoughts on a realistic Clifford the Red Dog?
I sometimes wonder why some people choose to make these stories, and I do not think that this is not a story that needs to be told in film with live action and a creepy, realistic yet disturbingly not realistic attempt at a dog.
Mm-hmm.
I just,
It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah. But hey, if it gets released this month, maybe it'll knock Sonic off for CGI.
No. And again, I feel like this is probably the third time we've done it this year. Kudos to the Sonic team for taking that one on the chin and then redoing it. Getting rid of those scary teeth. And, I will defend them on one thing, though. Sonic's eyes don't make any sense. They never have. So their attempt at trying to at least fix that was admirable. Like, because they were like, well, he's basically drawn like he's got a visor of one eye, and, like, there's no disconnect between, like, what the white of his eye. Like, it doesn't make any, like, it really doesn't make sense. I at least understood why they were trying to fix that.
Most definitely. Yeah, it just I have really strong feelings that this movie should not be made, but
no,
again,
I agree with you. So let's talk. This will be super short. Have you seen the new Sarah Paulson movie, Run? Also, she did a fantastic job, Nurse Ratched, on Netflix. So I recommend you go check that out. But just like theaters and movie studios have to self-report, or else we won't know what the numbers are. And granted, at least there we kind of get we have some industry insight. We could figure at least some sales things out if they never told us, right? It'd be harder. It'd definitely be harder, but we could figure some stuff out. With streaming, we don't really have a way of doing that accurately. So her newest movie, Run, Hulu's telling us it's their highest streamed movie, even beating what Palm Springs did this year, and that was the Andy Samberg, Linda Cardellini movie. Oh no, not sorry. Ooh, take that back. Sorry, that's not. That wasn't Linda. That was crap. The mom, How I Met Your Mother. Shoot. I'll have to look what her name is. Crap. I'm sorry. That is not. totally bust out the
Wait.
I bust out the name all confident, like, yeah, it's Freaks and Geeks, Linda. It's like, no, that's not.
Wait, are you talking about Colby Smulders or
No, the mom and
the mother?
The mother.
Oh shoot, Caprietti. Super Italian name.
I'm gonna let you Google it.
Okay?
While Tom pulls that up, so I mean, yes, it could be. I don't think they're lying about it being the most successful film on their own streaming platform. That's not what I have a problem with. But we don't really know a way to compare that with, say, Borat on Amazon or anything that's come out on Netflix the last year. Or like Extraction. They said Extraction and Old Guard were some of the highest streamed movies this year. Okay, what the fuck does that mean? Like, I don't. Tell me a million people streamed it at least. Tell me 2 million people streamed it. Tell me all your subscribers streamed it except for Joe and Anchorage, Alaska. Fine.
Fucking Joe.
Freaking Joe, throwing off the unanimous watch.
By the way, it's Kristen Milioti.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that. If it was like life or death pop quiz, I'm like, I'm so sorry. Cool. Tom, what do you think about streaming numbers being BS?
That's been kind of I have not really trusted any of the streaming numbers because honestly that ties directly to their company value. Like, at the risk of going all financial, whatchamacallit, Western Union got into big trouble because they kept on opening up they made up fake accounts basically, or had people.
Oh, Wells Fargo. Yeah.
Wells Fargo, yes. And they got, and I see the same thing happening here. Is they can say, oh yeah, 5 million people streamed it over a 4-week period or something like that.
It's like, did they?
I don't know what the rules are in reporting honesty when it comes to publicly traded streaming companies at this point.
Yeah. Now there are some sites that try to track that down, and I know I quote Dan Murrow a lot. He's got like a streaming chart that he maintains, so I guess I would like to see where he's pulling his numbers from on that. But it still could circle back around to like he's getting his numbers from the studios or from the like Netflix's and Hulu's, and then we're still right back in the same issue. Cool.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I don't see. There's no incentive for Netflix, Amazon, etc., to give them that information.
Yeah.
Right. It's when it's as if. Like if movie theaters were the product seller as well, we would have the same problem. But there isn't that separation.
Yeah.
You've got the seller also making the product and controlling the product from inception to sell. So it's I could probably rant about that. From a financial perspective.
We might need to dive into it more in another episode. But I just thought, it came across the desk, and I'm like, okay, but yeah, I have no way to make that substantial. I have no way to actually pound home what that means for people.
Yeah.
Something that would mean a lot to Expanse fans, but a bittersweet. But hey, much rather it be bittersweet than bitter. The Expanse has been renewed for a 6th season, but it will be the 6th and final season for The Expanse, which had started on Sci-Fi, but it's moved to Amazon Prime for the last 2 seasons, and this will be the 3rd, or I think it's the last 2 seasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Technically, they picked it up after season 3.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah,
which I guess kind of. Well, I'm not 100% sure about that because I thought that they picked it up or they co-produced it after season 1, but 100% after season 3.
Gotcha.
But
yeah, I'm excited because I've just started it. I'm in season 2. I'm enjoying it. And I like, what did you introduce me to? I forgot the name of the show off the top of my head. The Time Travelers.
Travelers, yeah.
Yeah. Travelers. I'm glad you at least admitted it from the get-go of like, hey, they didn't get to finish this. Like there is a resolution at least, but just like they didn't get to finish this. So like even getting into the Expanse, the reason I didn't start it initially, by the time I got interested in it, it was in that transition period between sci-fi and Amazon, so I was a little worried. So like now I feel very comfortable. I feel really good that I'm like in season 2 and like, oh, okay, there will be something to wrap this thing up in some sort of bow. So that makes me real happy.
I mean, would you not watch Firefly, knowing that?
No, I'd still watch it, but it's like, hey, let's use a good example of a show that just wrapped last week, Supernatural. If Supernatural, if I needed to watch all the 15 seasons of that, and someone told me, yeah, but then it got canceled and they didn't finish it, I might be a little apprehensive to even get into it because I'm just not going to have that attachment that's going to like drive me through if there's like a bad
15 seasons. Well, wait, hold on. If a show ran 15 seasons and if it was canceled in the 15th season, like
but
that is so much time. But that's so much time to tell the stories that they need to tell.
Okay, but is it resolved? Let's take something shorter. Let's take something shorter. Angel.
Yeah.
Does it end? Technically, but it's I mean, if you ignore the comic that comes after, it's a cliffhanger at the end of the fifth season.
The Sopranos.
Oh, that's not the same damn thing. You know it. What? A fade.
That was an end.
To black is not the.
That wasn't a fade to black. That was a slam yourself in the face.
That's right. It wasn't like lights out. It was like. Yeah, I apologize. You yeah.
But there is a little bit of there's some extra bitterness in this. Is Cass Anvar, who plays Alex, the Indian heritage Martian who has a Texas accent, is not going to be in season 6 because of accusations of harassment and such from, as far as I understand, reading into it, it seems like it's only in Twitter comments or DMs that he sent to people.
Inappropriate conversations and gotcha.
Yeah, and so there was an independent investigation, and it seems like, and his response was actually pretty open. He's like, "Listen, investigate this. I want it to be investigated. I don't know if I did any. I don't think I did anything wrong, and apparently, maybe they found that he did something wrong." Which is a big, long conversation that we could also have about the reckoning and the Time's Up realm of like how celebrities, athletes, other things like that, have had a permission to act a certain way, and that permission is being removed now, and how people are dealing with that. And Cass is another. I'm not going to say victim, but he's another result of that change of script, which is for the good. But I think it would be kind of interesting for us to talk about how that is playing out and how people are doing that. The cast was pretty wonderful. They were mostly, actually 100% in support of the people making the accusations. and saying, we should investigate this. But yeah, so more than likely we're not going to get Alex in season 6.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean,
or he will be recast like Christian's husband was recast as well.
Yeah. And ultimately for the show, I think it'll be all right. And I'm glad to hear the production's taking this seriously. They're not. This is not a knee-jerk reaction. I think it's well weighted. And hey, if you're not Warner Brothers, I assume you're going to be able to do a good job of this investigation.
Yes.
And that's all I'm going to say on that. Well, actually, no, let me clarify, because in case someone thinks I'm like on the Johnny Depp train. That's not what I mean. They have not taken care of their house. They just have not, like, there's some things they've done well, but they just generally have not done a good job taking care of the house. So they can get mad, but that's a fair jab.
Yep.
Tom, are you?
So on to
go ahead.
On to lighter things.
On the lighter things, something that and this is quite a shock for me. And I'm not a huge Doctor Who fan, but John Barrowman, that's my dude.
Yep. Yeah.
That's my dude.
He is a wonderful human being. He's just a unicorn of a person.
Yeah. So Captain Jack Harkness is back, and will be in the Doctor Who Christmas special coming out. Now, what I don't remember exactly was it going to be. Let me pull it back.
So actually, while you're doing that, one other thing that's worth mentioning is that last year or the year before, they didn't have a Christmas episode. They had a New Year's episode, which actually made people very upset because nerds don't like change, apparently. And so now we're back to
this year.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so it is, but this year is a Christmas episode again, so nerds can have a sigh of relief. Still going to be a woman doctor, though. Going to have to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you.
Some of you. I think they'll be alright.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that's a fun treat, and apparently was teased earlier in the season, and it's a nice payoff for the fans that have been hoping that this was going to come to pass. Now, I honestly would like just seeing a Captain Jack series coming back. Like, I wouldn't mind having that, but we're not getting all that. So hey, a special is fine. But something that's a little it's good and sad. I'm gonna go back to the bittersweet. We just call them for the Expanse. I love Alamo Drafthouse. Alamo Drafthouse is what if I were gonna own a movie theater by myself. Like the whole Nerd Union one I just gave you, aside from like the production studio, it's an Alamo Drafthouse. I think everyone that even heard me say it, I was like, that sounds like an Alamo Drafthouse with a with a good sound stage and stuff. I'm not saying Alamo doesn't have that, depending on the theater. Just because I love their appreciation for movies, respect for the experience. They lean into that. If you've been in one, you know what I'm talking about. As far as like the angry voicemails from people that are like, "You kicked me out of the theater because I was on my phone the entire time." It's like, yep, thank you for creating our marketing material. But unfortunately, and again, but Alamo Drafthouse is not some kind of mega corp. It's mostly, well, you can debate about that, but they're not like an old Carmike AMC Regal Cinema. They're not in that kind of class.
They're a boutique corporation.
Yeah. So their theaters are still across the U.S. Majority in Texas, and haven't been doing too well with COVID. So one of the co-founders, Tim League, is going to auction off his movie poster collection. And some of these are like original print, talking about like going back to Gone with the Wind, Citizen Kane, like kind of film history. So like I'm very saddened to see someone have to part with their collection to help tackle the debts that the company has incurred, along with like trying to make sure that his employees get paid. Like I applaud him for what he's doing, but I also just hate to see that it's even gotten to that point.
Yeah, I agree. This is one of those like heartwarming stories that's actually a terrible story about capitalism. And like, you know, a kid opens up a lemonade stand to pay for his sister's cancer treatment or something terrible like that. And yeah, like it's wonderful that he's doing this and making this choice, but it's horrible that we don't have a proper infrastructure to support the employees during these times and the company as well.
Yeah. I think this gets back to that Nolan conversation we were having earlier in the year, or like back towards like August and September. It's why like I had to be clear that like I'm chastising you for your push to keep having theaters open, but I'm not upset at what you've been trying to do to make sure they get loans, and you're like speaking on behalf to Congress and so on and so forth as far as like trying to get them money. Like, so I need to separate those two. It's like, I understand why you want them to be successful. Like, yeah, does that help your bottom line? Yes. But also, if they're gone, then like we're in an age where they may not come back. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know what the answer is, Tom.
Yeah, it's making America great.
Yeah. All right. We got two more. Actually, we talked about this on stage. Actually, I'm gonna back up to when we said we are gonna do about Deadpool 3. So if you love Bob's Burgers and you love the writers from Bob's Burgers, Ryan Reynolds was kind of on like a writer audition to like see who he felt comfortable with writing Deadpool 3, and he's found it in the Bob's Burger team writers. Actually, and I apologize, I don't have it's a family team. Waiting for Kenneth to find it.
While you're doing that,
I got it now. Oh. Wendy Molnix and Lizzie Molnix Logan. So yeah, they'll be the ones handling it. Ryan signed off on it, and we don't know still what that means as far as like R rating. Marvel and Kevin Feige have also like had the support for these two writing it, but we don't know what that means for the R rating that we all want to continue happening on Deadpool. So go ahead.
Yep. I hope that, you know, Disney just gets their hands off. I'm happy that Ryan Reynolds seems to have some control over this situation, or at least some influence, if not control. So
I hope it's control.
Yeah. So maybe it'll work out and not be terrible.
Keeping the fingers crossed.
Yep. So yeah, don't screw it up, Ryan.
Hey, I'm not worried about Ryan. You know, and knowing him, he might just back out of the project if they're just like not. Because I mean, you think about how hard he fought to have Deadpool happen the right way, and in the first place, I would not be surprised if he's like, "Screw you, we're not doing it that way." It's like, if you're gonna keep editing and cutting this much stuff out, I'm out.
Yeah, my gin company's doing well enough. I can walk away.
This part of the Nerd Union episode, or sorry,
is brought to you by
Aviation. Oh man! But also, Ryan, if you wanna do that,
yeah, we'll take some sponsorship.
Yeah,
I'm looking at you, Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah, I'm not saying we single-handedly promoted your movie, but
we promoted your movie.
Yeah, we promoted your movie. So, you know, some I don't know what tickets would. I don't know. I was gonna say get slide us some tickets, but we're not gonna get it. Oh boy! the last two, we were pretty right about that Bond number not being 600 million. It does show that it was going to be around 800 million or more.
Jesus.
So Eon, MGM, and Sony Pictures just were not on the same page. And the reason we bring up Eon because it's the Barbara Broccoli family and the Broccoli family trust that still runs and has control over the James Bond pictures. So there's obviously an amount of money that they did not want to go under. So I think as much as my first thought was, oh, this has got to be MGM execs that are screwing this up. Possibly, but it may have been that the hands were tied. Yeah, and it seems like it's definitely the family is more of an influencing factor on that.
See, so. I think that's kind of interesting because, I mean, this is just one moment of them being thirsty as hell, but honestly, this gives me flashbacks of the Salkland family and Superman. And they held control of that franchise so tightly that we, as a reaction, we couldn't call it Superman. We had to call it Man of Steel.
Oh God!
And
that's right. Yeah. And the tights.
Yep.
Couldn't have the blue tights.
Yep. Yeah, Eon needs to, understand that we all love Bond, but not that much.
Yeah. We don't cover COVID fear or die of love Bond that much. And the last thing, and really it's not perfectly back to our comedian conversation, but it's kind of what started just a tad. If you were enjoying the Chappelle Show episodes and going back and rewatching those like I was, you may notice they're gone. Your progress is just evaporated. It's not an error. It's not a blip on or like a hiccup of Netflix. Your internet's not out.
Yeah.
Dave,
no amount of refreshes are going to fix this.
Dave asked for them to remove it from Netflix because that SNL where he's talking about being a little blindsided and not knowing that this deal had happened between Netflix and not that a deal had to happen with HBO Max because Viacom owns that. But yeah, he was serious. He's like, I didn't know that. That's news to me. So when he talks about on his Instagram asking fans to not support it, don't watch it on that, and then having that partnership with Netflix and asking like, hey, is there any way you can like not do this because this hurts?
Yeah.
And Netflix obliged. You cannot watch the Chappelle Show on Netflix right now. If you still have HBO Max though, you can.
Which I'm trying to think, like, part of me wants to say, oh, Netflix did it out of the kindness of their heart. But no. Like, I think Sticks and Stones and his other stuff had to have brought so much money to them that they're like, let's keep Chappelle happy.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely about money. But Netflix, it's definitely about money. I mean, they would have bought Bond if it hadn't been 800 million. At 600 million, HBO, Amazon, and Netflix were right there on the hook, and they they overdid it. So, but
so there's also rumor.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So I think part of the thing that was interesting about this is that Chappelle may start another show on Netflix. Like the Chappelle Show, but not like the Chappelle Show. So, I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, you think that was like the trade-off?
Yeah,
I think this off, I'll come up with another like I'll pump out another 5 specials for you.
Yeah,
like that Outcast album that's never gonna get made.
You want to hear about how Charlie Murphy ran into Arnold Schwarzenegger? I got that. Man.
For those that are confused, though, like, it's the Chappelle Show. Like, what? Now, to be fair, even to Viacom, Dave hasn't really told us the inner workings of that contract. So we've kind of had to speculate, and I've been trying to dive into it and see if anyone has a good grasp on what exactly happened. But from what we can piece together, he obviously didn't own the rights from through the first 2 seasons. And sometimes you'll get into a thing of like the first run of it before it gets into syndication and things like that. Of like, oh, the studio will own it outright until you've completed your contract. So let's say, for example, when he got that extension after either before season 2 or at the end of season 2 to do the continued seasons, is that the stipulation came of that of like you'll be able to own, like effectively like a recording artist, like you'll own your masters after you do such amount of work for us, or you'll have the option to buy them back. You know, it depends on whatever someone writes in.
Yeah.
So it is entirely. Oh, go ahead.
I got to see Chappelle did a tour in 2005 or 2006, a stand-up tour, and I got to see that, and he talks about it rather candidly. But he didn't go into legal details because that's not funny. His whole thing was, they gave him a pile of money, and then the executive just kind of plopped his dick on top of the pile of money and said, "Here, the money's yours. Take it, please." And but he talked about how like they in the extension contract for $50 million, which was just, it's a lot of money for like 3 or 4 seasons. He still would not have rights to his name or to any of his skits. Like he even pointed to somebody who had a T-shirt on that said "fuck your couch." He's like, "I didn't see a dime for that. Somebody else is getting that." And I think that kind of that and the way that people started perceiving his show gave him a lot of pause as to what he was doing, I think.
Yeah. And I think that gives the departure, trying to understand the departure makes a lot more sense when you add in this financial aspect of it. Because I think so much of it was, at least from the outside looking in, it's like, but you just, like, this contract, like, you're about to get, like, what are you doing? Right? So yeah, there's the at least what we understood at the time of the creative control, or like felt like his creation was getting out of hand. But then you add in getting out of hand, then he also didn't own it, and it's like that's a big deal. What we've seen most recently, Taylor Swift trying to get away from her abusive producer. I forget what the guy's name is, but well documented, problematic. To where she might even pull the Prince, which gets its own more classic Masters fight of like, oof. I'm going to change my name and I'm going to re-record my Masters so that I can have control of it, and I dare you to do something about it.
I look forward to Taylor Swift's Emancipation album.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a really good opportunity for Chappelle. I hope he does do something. Instead of just the stand-up. Not that his stand-up isn't on point, but the way that he identified sketches was really thoughtful.
Yeah. And if you can get Neil Brenneman to come back with him too, and
yep, Neil needs work. He was looking pretty haggard at the Mark Twain Awards show.
That's just how he looks. That's just how he do.
But you know what was also kind of interesting though was hearing Jon Stewart talk about that situation. And Jon basically admitting that he sold his soul to Comedy Central because he's like, wait, I heard that they offered you a $50 million contract for like 2 or 3 years. I said to myself, my God. Comedy Central has $50 million to give away. I'm going to get that. And Chappelle, I took good care of your $50 million and raised it as if it was my own. And so, yeah, I think that it's kind of interesting. And I also think that that's why Stewart had such a hard leave after a while, because it's got to be draining to have that type of contract with that amount of money hanging over your head all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Where are we at next? Sorry, lost my train of thought. Where are we at next? But no, I think that's a good place to stop for Chappelle. And yeah, I'd be interested in what comes next. Yeah.
So, Thanksgiving movies.
Like we said, like we teased at the start of the show, I can think of one that I like, but let's put a quick definition out. Doesn't have to be perfect, because also my disdain for Thanksgiving movies is pretty high. It's like Christmas movies are higher. Oh no! Let's do a quick rank real quick. Valentine's definitely the highest. Then Christmas, then pretty much anything else. But those two take the cake for me. It's like, sure, we can you could do a ranking if you want to, but it goes Thanksgiving 1, Christmas 2, and then blah for anything else. But I think a Thanksgiving movie, they're so eerily identical to Christmas. One that I think that you tend to not see is magic as much. So it seems like Thanksgiving is very devoid of magic compared to October and December movies, or Christmas or Halloween movies, because they just don't have any Thanksgiving deity. So much so that Charlie Brown had to fucking make up shit. Even then, that's still Halloween. The Great Pumpkin, that's still a Halloween movie. It's not a Thanksgiving movie.
No, but there is a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special that doesn't have to do with the Great Pumpkin.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, if there's any kind of connection between the two, it's still that. Yeah, but that would still be like, if you're like, well, there's like pumpkin and fall festive. Like, shut up. It's a seasonal movie. It's not a Thanksgiving movie.
You make a pretty astute point in that, like, you know, there's Halloween, and that's demons and spirits, and Christmas is magic and sparkles, and then there's like the hard-working grit of Thanksgiving. And most movies about Thanksgiving, like the most famous, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, is someone trying so hard to get home. And that's actually that is a recurring theme through a lot of them, except for Scent of a Woman.
Tom, you blurred out a little bit there. Oh, there you go.
There we go.
You're back. Cool. Scent of a Woman, yep.
Yeah, I mean, Scent of a Woman is a Thanksgiving movie. And my favorite tongue-in-cheek Thanksgiving movie is Son-in-Law with Pauly Shore. Because it is not afraid of being as bad as it is.
All right.
I mean, it's okay. One, it's Pauly Shore, which is just Pauly Shore. It's a known quantity, and either you find it funny or it's terrible. And so it's Pauly Shore and a farm, and now like it just gets weirder and weirder after that. But yeah, I found the Esquire 35 greatest Thanksgiving movies to watch this holiday, and a lot of them I don't know what the hell they are.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad.
Yeah, there's like a National Lampoon Holiday Reunion, which probably has nobody in there. Sweet November with Keanu and Charlize.
You know, like August Osage County, I was going to say, like, we get some Meryl Streep, so I could at least enjoy some Meryl Streep.
You've Got Mail.
That's a... Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not necessarily about Thanksgiving, but there is a Thanksgiving scene, and it does take place during the fall.
I will say, like, so this is usually what it gets thrown in my face when people are like, Die Hard's not a Christmas movie, as an example of, like, definitions. Although, goes across country to see a lost lover, check. Mm-hmm. Goes for incredible odds to patch that relationship. Check.
Now
has a little magic or a little luck go their way.
Yep.
Check.
There's a lot of red decorations, but it's mostly blood.
So like, that's the like if people get so stuck on setting or themes, and you'd be like, well, isn't that always the important thing? I was like, yeah, but like literally these movies, that's really the only thing that separates between Thanksgiving and Christmas. It might be just the magic. That literally might be the only thing to in the time of year by a month.
So, and that's actually something that I'm going to get on the soapbox for a second. I wish we made better Thanksgiving movies, because to me, Thanksgiving is the agnostic / secular holiday of our nation. Historical terribleness aside.
Okay, thank you.
This is at least a day that if we could just like separate Thanksgiving from the lie that we've built around Thanksgiving, and just said this is a holiday for people to give thanks and to spend time with their family and stuff their face. Great, I can get behind that, because there are people that don't have Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or the winter solstice or I don't know, Festivus.
For the rest of us, yep.
Yep. So maybe we do need to look into more Paul Blart Mall Cops as possible Thanksgiving movies. Yes, Paul Blart is a Thanksgiving movie.
I'd rather watch Reno 911 the movie. Okay.
You mean Super Trooper?
No, it's not the same. No. I gotta show respect to Reno 911 for that one. Also, Super Troopers. Yeah, gosh, why are we getting into cop movies? I don't know how I feel about cop movies anymore.
No,
it's like Law and Order. I used to love Law and Order as a kid. Now I don't know how I feel about it.
Even Paul Blart, Mall Cop. Yeah. So like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is probably the best that we've got as far as that. Followed maybe by a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then
I would say I think the formula though is so if you think Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, some adversity, a wacky character. You got John Candy hamming it up with Steve Martin. Learning a lesson of thankfulness, it's in some form or fashion, right? And then, but the problem is that's very broad. It doesn't really help. Like, I guess yes, we'll add in and be in the correct time period and season. But then we get into the Hallmark Channel problem, where they have like, oh, that's the formula. We got that. Oh, we can milk the hell out of that. We got you, fam. That's not how Hallmark would talk, but that just makes me feel better about the
actually, I kind of wish that they did. There was just one guy in like a knitted Nordic sweater saying, "We got you, fam." as he's drinking a hot toddy or something like that.
Yeah. So I think that would be the successful formula, but again, I think it's right for blandness, right for being a Hallmark Channel original picture, and also just makes it forgettable. It's just a reason, like, there's a reason you and me had to look up Thanksgiving movies, but if it came to Christmas movies, we'd at least be able to like pop. I mean, if you and me needed to make a top 10 list, even if it wasn't our final top 10, but if we need to do that for Christmas right now or Halloween, and then with Halloween you could debate like, do you mean horror movies or do you mean just like but we could do that. Thanksgiving, I was struggling to think of a couple, let alone if I needed to make a 10 list. Yeah,
I'm looking at this Esquire list, and they like boast 35, and Addams Family Values is one of them, and it's mostly because of their rendition of the first Thanksgiving.
Hey, at least Wednesday Addams and was like, we're gonna do this right. We're gonna tell the real story.
But actually, and also they mentioned New World.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh man. You know what? Who plays Columbus in that movie?
Colin. No, it's not Columbus. It's John Smith.
John Smith.
And it's Colin Farrell. Yeah, it's the love story of John Smith and Pocahontas.
I was gonna say now because there is a Columbus movie that I would say is probably more accurate, but they mess up because they try to vindicate him at the end of it, which I'm like,
yeah,
you're so close. you showed the brutality. You were so close. I want to say Gerald. Was it Despada? I can't say his last name.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The one that the anti-Semitic guy directed. Crap. But yeah, like the one that ends with was it the Nina that made it?
I think because he goes back to Spain goes back to Portugal and they have that conversation in the court, in the royal court, and it's like, no, like this, this is not. Yeah, that's what we started the show talking about. It's like a realistic Thanksgiving. Like if you're going historical, it's gonna be really sad. If we're gonna be completely honest.
Like now that Apocalypto maybe is what you're thinking of.
No, I'll look it up. I thought it had a similar title as The New World, but it's not Colin Firth. This is an older movie. This is like probably late '80s, early '90s. I remember watching it in American history class, and then promptly getting in trouble because apparently it was bloodier than the teacher remembered. That was the whole thing. They were like, "You showed our children what?" My parents didn't care, but other folks were like,
"Oh yeah, no." There was you always had that one weird kid in high school, and grade school and other things like that, where like, no, like somebody's like, "No, I'm not allowed to watch Harry Potter" or something along those lines. Which now that I see you drink, I made the mistake of not pouring myself a glass of Christmas.
The eggnog is there?
No, I tried something else. Eggnog I'm going to make tomorrow. But so this is sliced apples, cinnamon sticks, star anise, and clover. Or clove.
I'm sorry, star what now?
Star anise. And then you put that into a pitcher and then pour Jameson on it. And magic. Mm-hmm. And it does taste like Christmas, which is also sad because apparently Christmas tastes like alcohol.
You skipped Thanksgiving. Like I'm gonna make it taste like Christmas.
There's a flavor profile that just sticks from and kind of morphs into a spectrum, starting from October with pumpkin spice, and kind of Christmas spice kind of moves into that same. It's all cinnamon, nutmeg, and anise.
Cinnamon nutmeg. Ooh.
Cinnamon nutmeg. That should be my screen name.
The Charlton Heston quote you've been saying since Ten Commandments popped right into my head. Every time I can't go into that octave and talk like that. Thanks a lot, Tom. Bond. Yeah.
Bondage. Cinnamon. Nutmeg.
See, we can't even take this topic seriously just because there's not. No. Folks, that ought to tell you everything you need to know right there.
I think, now that and work with me for a hot second, I kind of want to do a Mel Gibson-esque movie about Thanksgiving where, like, everybody's bought turkeys and there's no turkeys left, and it's someone's frantic search to find a turkey for Thanksgiving, and then ends up hunting a wild one in the woods. And, at like the last moment is them holding up this dead turkey as they walk into the house. I've got one, and then cooking. Because, again, Thanksgiving is about struggle.
Yeah.
Not always my best idea. I've had better, but not a lot to work with Thanksgiving.
For sure. I guess the other thing I would like, one trope, and this will definitely apply when we get to Christmas, so I'm going to rail on it harder when we get to Christmas, but family toxicity being applauded or kind of pushed under the rug for these movies drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I need to see some more untidied resolutions at the end, because that's just more realistic. And it's like, things might come out during the holiday. Like, I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm not saying blow-ups don't happen. But this idea that y'all are all like, everything's good, and we just walk up, like, that's bullshit. Mm-hmm. That is absolute horse manure. And I would like to see, or hell, even if they gave us a snapshot of a couple different years, and shows the progression of an issue across multiple Thanksgivings or something like that, that might be more realistic. Of like, it didn't get resolved until like a couple years later, but this is the way they blew up here. They had a divorce, so on and so forth. Now the family's kind of starting to get their stuff back together, kind of like figure out where they're at now. It's like, that would be more realistic. But this whole like, we're gonna treat it like sitcom, get it done in 2 hour kind of bullcrap. Like, no.
Yeah, or at the very least, not swept under the rug, but just like quietly brooded upon. Like a moment where a mom is like, now don't go in the same room as Uncle Cletus alone, or something along those lines of like, family worrying about the darkness within their own family and not addressing it, but also managing to it.
Yeah. Tired of this lighthearted nonsense. I might be a little...
Actually,
go ahead.
Is there a Medea Thanksgiving movie? I mean, there's like 15 of them.
It seems like there ought to be. I know there's a Halloween movie, Family Reunion, Diary of a Mad Black. Well, then we just have the Tyler Perry movies too.
Yeah, there's Medea's Family Thanksgiving.
Yeah, folks, go watch that instead. I can't even give you an actual recommendation or review of it. Oh man.
So actually, Vogue did 15 of the best Thanksgiving movies. Oh man, why didn't I start with this one?
Was it better? And was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles on it?
It still has You Got Mail, and The Last Waltz, Pieces of April, Addams Family Values, Ice Storm, Funny People. This is almost the exact same thing. Paul Blart.
Someone
Brokeback Mountain. Someone put in Brokeback Mountain because pivotal scenes of the film take place during Thanksgiving. The Blind Side, interesting. Rocky is a Thanksgiving movie.
No.
Because there is an incredible Thanksgiving scene in which a turkey is chucked out the back door.
Doesn't Polly do that?
What was that?
I think it's Polly. I think Polly chucks.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, because House of Yes, What's Cooking again, Dan in Real Life. So they didn't put in Son-in-Law. That's crap.
I mean, it's Pauly Shore. The better Pauly Shore movie is Biodome, obviously.
I mean,
dude, I'm joshing with you.
I'm all for the whole guess what you ate from your fart game that they play throughout that, but
I'm secretly grew up on some Pauly Shore comedies, especially when they came on Saturday afternoons on cable.
Mm-hmm.
And for people that are like, I can't stand Pauly Shore. It's like, but you can stand Bobcat Goldthwait? No, Get out of here. And I love both of those guys, but don't tell me one's immaculately better than the other. Stop that nonsense. Stop it.
No, not at all.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else, Tom?
No. Like there seems to be hints of a Medea Christmas or Thanksgiving movie, but I don't know of any real evidence. So, a lot of Photoshop pictures, which makes me hopeful.
Oh, it could be Black Thanksgiving Twitter, or it could be Black Twitter. It could be Black Twitter photoshopping for Black Thanksgiving. So,
yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep. That's all I got. So what you watching?
Yeah, folks, that's all we got for Thanksgiving. I promise sometime I'm going to get these reviews out for stuff. I'm not going to tell you when because just I haven't had the time, but I'm really enjoying Star Trek Discovery. If you check out my Twitter, I went through a whole thread just talking about where I've seen it improve from season 1, 2, and now into season 3. No, it's not classic Trek. You just have to get. I'm not trying to tell Trekkies to get over it. That's not what I mean by that. But if that's what you're looking for, it just doesn't. It's not answering those same type of questions.
Sadly,
go ahead.
Classic Trek is dead. Like I don't think it's ever going to come back.
Yeah.
That's we can try and go back. I mean, or it's kind of skew back towards the center of the spectrum, but nope. Sorry, continue.
No. And that was something. That was what someone brought up on my on that thread, and when our CEO Kyle brought up a really good point of they're flinging them into these complicated A plots, and I brought up in season 1 that the A plot was a good idea. They should have let it simmer out a little bit longer because they rushed through like the Dominion War-esque kind of like meat in one season. It's like you really could have. I mean, that could be what we're the Klingon Federation War could be what we're still talking about. But I'm gonna let that go. And the same thing in season 2 was the A plot interesting. Yeah, but you're also getting the time travel. So we could, we could have a long thing about that. But what they realized in season 1 was we rushed through this A plot so much that we didn't really develop anybody. So then in season 2, they're like, okay, we still have these threads. Let's start paying them off. Burnham did these things. She started to kind of get her life back together, learning how she needed to respect the chain of command to a point. And so let's build that and let's explore that conflict between how Saru wants to present himself and how Burnham wants to present him. Like they build that and throwing Captain Pike in there as another crap. We got distrust from the previous captain. Is this guy good? And then how Saru gonna learn how to become a leader? Like that. Those are great things. Stamets and Hugh. Like to me, season 2 was like, let's get the crew back together. Let's not waste. Like the plot didn't make sense from season 1. They didn't really spend a lot of time making the plot for season 2 make better. But I felt like their primary focus was we have to salvage and fix these characters before we go into what they ultimately wanted to get to at the end for season 2, which was the time jump. And I think that was smart. It's like if we at least get them, if everybody feels better, if everybody's watching the show and feels better about these characters by the time we get to this point, we'll have a clean slate going into it. And that's paying dividends in season 3. It really is. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to really ruin anything for folks that maybe haven't watched the first two seasons. I understand why you may not want to. I'd say you could at least wiki read season 1, watch season 2, and be ready to jump into season 3. I think that'd still be a solid. Because even I may not really going to want to rewatch season 1. It's like a TNG season 1. I'm sorry, I am not excited to rewatch season 1 TNG.
No.
But yeah, these things are paying dividends now. That blank check, or not blank check, but the blank slate is paying dividends. So I'm excited to watch season 6 this week. Or sorry, not season 6, episode 6 this week. Keep covering it as best I can.
Is it coming? Actually, is it coming out?
I thought it was. I thought it was.
Tomorrow might be a holiday.
Maybe I'm getting Mandalorian confused. Mandalorian is coming out this week. I might be confusing. Star Trek might be next week, so I can double check.
Okay.
Mandalorian is coming out this Friday, so you don't have to worry about any kind of like holiday break there. But I could be wrong but if it's next week for it. But I'm just trying to advocate. Trek is good. If you're looking for old Trek, this isn't it. Maybe you'll get more of that with the Strange New Worlds when Pike comes out. But I don't think that means you should just ignore this series because they're doing some cool things.
Yeah. I have some worries about what they're doing with like the ship itself and other things like that. I'm kind of curious because I think that they have to go back. There's some point in which they're going to go back, and the burn has something to do with it. But
yeah, I am kind of like, they caused this, didn't they? It was an accident, but they caused it, didn't they?
Yeah. Although, so real quick. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I'll save it for another Trek thing because otherwise we'll get into a whole another. Go ahead.
So real quick, one of the things that I'm watching is a little bit out of character for me. It's a cooking show called Oh Cook with James May, who is some of you may or may not know. James May is one of the not original, but one of the presenters of Top Gear for about 15 years, and then they moved to the Grand Tour. James May is a wonderful balance of self-awareness and pedantic energy, and he's learning to cook on television, and that's on Amazon. Also, if you enjoy it, then definitely check out James May, Our Man in Japan, which is also on Amazon. The only other thing is I'm going to binge watch some Bond movies on Thanksgiving because that seems to be a Thanksgiving thing for me. So
sweet.
Yep.
All right. With it being a holiday weekend, I'm going to be gaming. So aside from watching, definitely be checking out the Nerd Union stream for probably some Halo streams, some more Miles Morales on PS5, and then might start busting into the retro collection because I finally got some open scan converter to help my HDMI stuff older things look better on HDMI.
Yeah.
And
nice.
I think I've already tested it a little bit. I'm excited. Looks good. So
I'm actually I've been playing a mod for I don't know if you remember CNC Generals, Command and Conquer Generals. In my opinion, the favorite, but also the most racist of Command and Conquer. Somebody came out with a mod called Contra, which is just stupid hard. And right now I'm banging my head against the boss for the Global Liberation Army or something like that, which is supposed to be like Middle Eastern people. So, yeah, it's been driving me. If someone were in the house, they would be scared because every once in a while you just hear me scream at the game. Because like when you play, you're doing well, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, for no reason, he just gets like this huge horde of war machines that do exactly the right thing at all times, and it's really maddening to deal with.
Deal with it, Tom. Deal with it.
I'm trying.
Figure it out. Just kidding.